Today on the Charles Carroll Society, we're going to talk about Alex Jones and freedom of speech. I don't really sleep well at night. When I was younger, I used to like to get up when I couldn't sleep and I would turn on a radio and listen to late night talk radio. I can't remember the show's name actually. I think it was Coast to Coast AM perhaps. But it was this late night show and it had a great DJ. He had a really smooth voice. I really wish I had that wonderful voice. He'd talk real deep. And it was all about aliens and lizard people and giants, secret giants that used to live in the world. And he had a real smooth voice. And I literally used to sit in a chair and I could nod off listening to that. I don't see anybody talking that this radio show should be banned from anything. I believe that that show has over 600 stations and 2.75 million unique listeners. If that show is Coast to Coast AM, which I think it is. I haven't listened for a while. When I lived back east, in the big cities back east, downtown, there used to have the old-fashioned newspaper stands where you'd go and walk down the downtown and you get newspapers. And I remember walking past them, you get your normal newspapers, but they had these weird tabloids.
Let me check the hot sheets.
These are the hot sheets?
Best investigative reporting on the planet. Go ahead, read the New York Times if you want to. They get lucky sometimes. Thanks, Manny.
Then I believe you're looking for tips in the supermarket tabloids.
Not looking for. Found.
And on the top of these tabloids were all the coverage, aliens this and probing that and secret planets this. I can't remember. Some of the names used to be like the National Enquirer, Star Magazine, the Mirror, and the Sun. You know them and the tabloid magazines in your supermarket when you're trying to get out of there. And the kids are always trying to snatch the candy that they, of course, put exactly right there so that the kids will see it and say something. But those guys are mostly about celebrities, celebrity this and celebrity that and how to please your man this. I've never really paid attention much to those papers, but they're there. I don't see CNN saying that those papers shouldn't exist. But if you think about it, just like the alien papers, it's just conspiracy theory. People seem to buy them, I guess, because those papers still exist and still have people who buy them and subscribe and pick them up. A lot of the new conspiracy projects, and a lot of those actually have moved online. Some of the biggest sites are called Conspiracy Reality TV, Godlike Productions, and The Unhive Mind. These are websites that just deal with conspiracy and did they do this and they do that. These are all there. I don't see Spotify or Apple trying to deny that these websites or these papers or these shows that deal with what some people would call conspiracies should be taken off or not shown, or you have the option of, or not option, of buying these papers. Yet so many of these papers want to say that Alex Jones and InfoWars, who they consider conspiracy-based, should be taken offline. Why? Why should the Sun and the National Enquirer be allowed? Read the paper. It's full of, well, if you're into that kind of stuff, you have the free ability to buy it. Why are they attacking Alex Jones but not all of these other conspiracy sites? I don't even like the term conspiracy. I mean, we understand what it means. But I'll give you an example. What was considered conspiracy? At one time, it was considered a conspiracy that the CIA was testing LSD and other hallucinogenics drugs on Americans in a top secret experiment to modify their behavior. That was considered conspiracy at one time. Came out later, that was 100% the truth. The program was called MK Ultra and it was real. The CIA started by using volunteers. The novelist Ken Casey was one of the notable subjects, but then the program had soon began doing it to people without their knowledge or consent. MK Ultra, our government, our CIA left many victims permanently mentally disabled. Another conspiracy at the time, completely conspiracy, denied by all the powers that be, was that our government, the United States government, gave black men sexually transmitted diseases like syphilis. Comes to find out, 100% true later on. The Tuskegee study of untreated syphilis in Negro males, now known simply as the Tuskegee study, was a disturbing secret racial experiment that ran for 4 decades, 40 years. Researchers gave nearly over 400 poor and poorly educated black men syphilis and then charted the disease's course and did not give them any treatment, even after treatment was available. The study came to public attention in the 70s. There was an outcry and the experiment came to an end. By that time, 74 of the original 400 subjects were still alive. Many of them others had died. On top of this, 40 of their wives had also contracted syphilis, and 19 of their children have been born with congenital syphilis. This was considered a conspiracy at one time. Do you trust CNN to cover this type of information? There are also many other types of conspiracy. The government said that they weren't running guns to Mexico. The LAPD and other police departments said that they didn't have outrageous officers, out of control officers, essentially running their own gangs in inner city and moving drugs. All of that came to be shown to be true later on. This nation, our United States nation, is much safer with Alex Jones and InfoWar with a bullhorn outside the old rich guy annual meeting that all the people who are our betters have at Bilderberg. That is a freedom of the press. When you see him out there, you know that there's someone out there truly trying to hold the powerful accountable. One of the things I think this is going to end is that these companies, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they try to hide behind the ISP protections that the United States government created. You and I, we supported creating laws to protect ISPs from what we do. That's why your ISP does not block any website that you go to. And you know who I'm talking about. And you know what websites I'm talking about. You go home, your ISP doesn't block any website you go to. Why? Because they are a neutral form. Well, what we have now begun to understand is that these social media companies are not neutral forms. They are progressive publishers who are intentionally working to stifle voices they don't agree with. They are a globalist, progressive cartel. When Congress brings them together, they have to stop looking at Google as separate from Apple, as separate from Facebook. These guys work in cahoots. And when they all decide that you no longer have a voice, that you are unpersoned, you are unpersoned. You can't get your voice out anymore. And it's always very interesting that this is happening right before the midterm elections. While our Republican elected leaders up there talking about marginal tax rates, 20 or 21%. These guys are annihilating the stools, the actual people out there doing the work every day, trying to expose people to new ways of thought. Do you remember that President Trump was introduced to Alex Jones' audience early when he was running, when no one else would give him any press? Alex Jones gave him press. I stand for our God-granted rights, which includes private property, by the way, and it includes freedom of speech. The guy sitting down in public Times Square with the sign that says the world's going to come to an end tomorrow, that is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is speech that you don't like. My 9-year-old daughter, when she runs a lemonade stand with her Bible and her flags, she sells a lot of lemonades and cookies. She doesn't need really protection from freedom of speech. Everyone likes what she's doing. It's the people you don't like that you must protect. And these social media giants have shown time and time again that they will not protect freedom of speech, speech that they don't agree with. They are progressive publishers working as a cartel to stifle traditional and conservative voices. And they will come for you. They will work their way. This is a test case, a test balloon of annihilating a major platform. CNN doesn't like competition. They are pushing to silence Alex Jones. And they will push again. They will continue to work their way up the chain. I'll leave you with a quote that is often misattributed to Voltaire or Patrick Henry, but it was actually written by a woman expressing Voltaire's opinion, his approach to freedom of speech. I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. I stand with Alex Jones, I stand with InfoWars, and you should too. Viva Crystal Ray, Viva Crystal Ray, Viva Crystal Ray, either Virgin of Guadalupe.